In the summer of 2022, I almost went to the dark side and switched to a Mac. But I decided to give Microsoft a last chance with the release of the new Windows 11. But am I glad I did? Yes, sir. Hi, my name is Glenn and I work at Basis IT, and I have almost 20 years of experience repairing computers for private people like you and me and smaller companies. Today let's talk more specific about these 11 tips that Windows 11 has, which I find really great. The first is the Windows 11 update function has become a lot better. One of the really irritating features for me has always been Windows Update, which has been so bad. But with Windows 11 they have really improved the way that Windows Update works. It's now possible to see an estimate of how long a certain update will take. Of course this is a little bit different because a computer and the hardware a computer has and the speed a computer has, it varies a bit. Now you will know if it's a small update or a bigger update. So a small update you could easily do while you're working on your computer, but a bigger update you would usually wait and start at the end of the day. So this is a great improvement of Windows 11, which has annoyed me for years. I never really liked the snap feature on Windows. I found it very irritating, and when moving Windows around they suddenly snapped and filled the entire screen. But with Windows 11 they have now made a new feature called Snap Layouts, and it's really easy to activate it. You just have to move your mouse cursor up in the right corner of a window and keep the cursor hovering over a Windows Maximize button. That's the one in the center. And this will show layout for different kinds of positions that you want to place the windows in. And actually I found it very addictive. I use it a lot. So things have really improved with these snap windows, and especially nowadays these new big monitors we have, this is a great tool. It seems as if people these days all want to talk to their machines or their phones, and everybody, all manufacturers tries to make a really decent piece of software that can understand what you're saying and write it down from your speech to text on screen. With Windows I don't find it really working that well, but with Windows 11 it's actually got a lot better, and actually to the point where you can use it. So what you have to do is, to enable this you need to press Windows key and H at the same time, and then you can just start talking to your to your computer. And after doing this and talking to your computer, you will probably find that you can do a lot of more tasks than you ever imagined. Like when you write emails, just press the button and talk it in. I must say that one of my major pains or points, or whatever you call it, but one of my major issues is backup. In the 20 years that I have been providing computer support, I've been utterly shocked at how many who doesn't have a backup. I mean, you should see their faces when I tell them that there's not a chance on earth that they will get their documents, family pictures, family videos back. So that's kind of one of my major issues. And it can be anything. It could be hacking, it could be ransomware, it can also be your computer that won't start up, it could be a hard drive that dies, and that's not abnormal. It's quite actually, it happens a lot of times. So therefore I always recommend to do a backup, and especially with Windows 11 it's actually got a lot easier. So there's 3 ways of backing up as far as I see it. You have file history, where you can select the point in your computer that you want to create, and then you always has this as a restore point, so you can always go back to that state. So that's file history. You also have the way that you can copy your files to your cloud folder. That could be Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, but you could always put it in a folder that will synchronize itself to the cloud. So that's the cloud backup of files, and then you have an image backup where you make a what can I call it? A mirrored copy of your entire computer to another hard drive. So which should you choose? Well, the way I do it, I have a OneDrive folder where I put all my images from family pictures, family videos, documents. That's very important. It always gets synchronized to my Microsoft OneDrive. That's the cloud folder. So it's up there in the cloud. So that's the way I do it with all my pictures. Other way I do it is that I also take a system image, because I have a lot of programs installed. So if my computer were to crash, I could always get back to the previous state quite quickly. So that's why I use an image, and this image is something I make and put on a separate hard drive and keep it at my parents' house. And the final thing I do is also do file history, because I find it very easy just to be able to restore back to a previous state if something is wrong. So besides making myself protected against ransomware, viruses and hackers and stuff like that, as much as I can, because you can never get 100% completely protected, then I also protect myself against if there was a fire in my house or somebody stole my computer. So the Clipboard feature is another cool thing in Windows 11. They have introduced this new Clipboard, and it's a temporary buffer where they can save items that you can use in between apps. So you can either copy or paste it. So it's kind of a history of the things you have copied. Besides that, Windows 11 also have improved the Clipboard, so you now have cool features like GIF and emojis and stuff like that. And now, one of the best improvements that Microsoft has made with Windows 11 is the enhanced security. These days, security is everything, and privacy means more and more to us. And Microsoft has improved this a lot with the new Windows 11, where they have these new features called Smart App Control. They use TPM, and they have Secure Boot as well. So now, this may not seem like a lot, but it's really crucial, and it's really important features to have. So what is TPM? Well, it stands for Trusted Platform Module, and it's about 20 years old, so it's not a new thing. A lot of features like facial recognition and BitLocker relies on TPM, and it's very safe, and it stores cryptographic keys. So it validates the hardware and the software so nobody can tamper it. In short, then Secure Boot is another way of making sure that your computer boots without getting tampered with. So it kind of protects the computer against malware when starting up. So remember to enable Secure Boot and TPM in your BIOS. Otherwise you actually can't install Windows 11 without doing some tricks. The other program called Smart App Control is a program in Windows which helps you be protected against malicious software. It's a software that uses AI and keeps getting better all the time. It has around 43 billion signals a day, I think, which helps the program determine if a program is harmful or not. In the new Action Center on Windows 11, you can control all your media regardless of whether you're playing YouTube videos, you're playing a video locally on computer, or you're playing Spotify music. So the control panel for audio will only show if you're playing a video or music, so you have to start a song on Spotify or YouTube to see this panel in action. So it's a great way that you can control all your songs and all your media one place without having to change programs. A super cool new feature on Windows 11 is that you can run Android apps natively on Windows. And it doesn't matter if you have an Intel or an AMD processor. You can do this using the Amazon App Store. So to start off, you need to check a few things. Check if your computer meets the requirements. Check that you have updated your Windows to the most recent version. So once you've done this, you need to restart your computer and then you can install the apps from Amazon App Store. Some of you may ask, well, how do I remove this app again? Well, it's quite simple. You just click the start button, the flag in the lower left corner, search for the app, right click on the app and click uninstall. And now to the final tip. I will try to keep it simple, but this is about keeping your privacy with DNS over HTTP. So to keep it simple, every time you try to go to a website like google.com or youtube.com and type it in the address bar, then you send a request to a DNS server. This DNS server translates the letters to an IP address, which is mainly digits. And they will correspond to a certain server where Google is located or YouTube is located. And then you will be sent over to that server. So therefore, the company that owns this DNS server, probably your ISP, Internet Service Provider, will be able to see what you're doing online and what you search for. Apple has made this privacy a selling point, and Google has made this an option to change the DNS with Android 9. So it's kinda a pressing matter for Microsoft to make this available and increase your security with Windows 11. So with this new feature, when you enable it, you're able to encrypt all your queries. What happens is that Windows encrypts your query using the HTTP protocol, and like that, nobody can see what you're searching for. Now let's look at how you enable it. But before we do that, please remember to subscribe on this YouTube channel if you want to get a message next time I upload a really good video, or press like if you like this video. That would mean a lot to me. I hope you could use all these tips. I really find that new features and Windows 11 has improved a lot, and it's a lot more likable when you also know all these tips that I've just provided you with. And for me, I'm not changing to macOS yet.